Hi everyone, my name's Andrew Baldock, and I'm the designer of Band Room Blitz. Today, I'm going to do an in-depth look at the game. Let's dive in. Now, Band Room Blitz is divided into 4 difficulty levels, the first of which is just Jammin. To play at this difficulty, all you need is the category cards, answer cards and markers for each player, and a sand timer. Setting up is easy. Just deal out 4 category cards, an answer card, and a dry erase marker to each player. Then, place the category deck in a central location. It can be split up if you've got a large group. Next, figure out who goes first. This is determined by whoever has most recently done a performance, whether it's music, acting, live streaming, or doing a presentation at school or work. The player going first is the band leader. They take 2 category cards from their hand and place them out on the table for everyone to see. Everyone else, the band members, have to come up with an original band name based off of these cards. You can use as many words as you like for the band name. You're not limited to only words tied to these cards. And sometimes it's entirely possible for a single word to fit both cards. So, for example, if you play profession and person's name, you might come up with Murphy's Lawyers, Dr. Payne and the Patients, or simply Baker. And note that this is a word game. You don't necessarily have to know a lot about music to create a great band name. In fact, I've lost my own game several times to a friend who pretty much lives under a rock. She's just that good at the wordplay. Now, back to the game, categories are meant to be interpreted loosely, but it's ultimately up to the band leader if a band name fits the categories. A good example is the metal card. When I'm band leader, I like to consider it both the material and things that are popular in metal music. The sole exception, cards with quotes. For these cards, you must include the word on the card. These are usually really simple words though, like the, for, new, and DJ. As for the sand timer, if your players lose focus or someone is taking too long, the band leader can say, "Hey guys, there's only 30 seconds left. Hurry up, get going." If the band leader is abusing this rule, the band members can overrule him with a unanimous vote. Once everyone is done, they read out their band names to the band leader, who then picks their favorite. That player gets a point. To keep track, the winning player takes one of the cards in play and puts it in their winnings pile. The others are put into a discard pile. The role of band leader shifts to the left, and you start over. If you run out of cards, just shuffle the discard pile into a new deck. And remember, cards you take to go into your winnings pile won't return, so make sure you pick the cards that you don't want coming back. Oh, and don't forget to refill your hand at the end of the round. Winning the game is a simple matter of being the player with the most points. Before playing, you can decide whether that's the first player to a certain number of points, or the player with the most points by a certain time limit. These kinds of party games have a bad habit of going on a bit too long. So I recommend 5 wins for groups larger than 5 people, or 10 wins for groups smaller than that. As for time limits, I can play this game for like 2 hours, no sweat. But an hour to an hour and a half feels satisfying, and you won't get sick of it like some other games I can think of. Now, moving on. The next difficulty level is band practice, and introduces a whole new deck, the modify cards. Setup is basically the same, except each player also gets 3 modify cards in their hand. A single modify card can be added into play after the category cards are put down up until any player has finished writing their band name down. And here's the twist. The modify cards are played by the band members, not the band leader. The first one laid is the one in play, but if 2 people are really quick and you can't really tell who was first, then the band leader will decide which one stays. The modify cards are there to throw off your fellow band members. They do kind of a couple different things. Some force the band name into a specific genre, like make it folk, make it rap, or make it a jazz quartet. Usually, all you have to do to make a band name fit a genre is just add a new word or tweak what's already there. Like, if you started with the band name Dr. Payne and the Patients, you could make it sound like an American folk band by changing it to Doctor and Patients. It still features a profession and a person's name, but now it's decidedly more folk sounding. I'm not entirely sure why, it just sounds like folk to me. Ultimately, it will be up to your band leader whether or not your band name fits the cards in play. And if you aren't a fan of country, rap, metal, or jazz, whatever, there's a handy guide at the back of the rulebook that gives helpful tips to make a band name fit any particular genre that you'll find in the game. Other modify cards force the band name into a particular format, like rhyming, alliteration, or even removing all the vowels. Others manipulate the cards in play, like swapping a category with one from your hand, or adding a third category card. Note that there are 2 exceptions to the 1 modify card per round rule. These modify cards require another modify card to already be in play before you can use them. These are remove modify, which removes the modify card currently in play, obviously, and fusion genre. When a genre modify card is put into play, you can use the fusion genre card to add another genre modify card and force the band name into a style of music that blends these 2 genres. Some genre combinations will work really well, like jazz rock or folk punk, but sometimes it can get a little wacky, like children's metal. Either way, have fun with it. The word genre sounds really funny to me right now. Anyway, on to the next difficulty level, On Tour. It's personally my favorite difficulty level. If you're a really big music nerd like I am, I'm sure it'll be yours too. It's also the difficulty level we tend to play at on our Twitch streams. Don't forget to check those out. On Tour only introduces 1 extra rule. If you can think of an existing band that fits the cards in play, you just shout that band's name out and you get a bonus point. There's only 1 bonus point per round though, so you have to think fast. The bonus point card for your winnings pile actually comes out of your hand. So pick any card you don't like, drop it in your winnings pile, and draw a new one to replace it at the end of the round. This is where the modify cards can really come in handy. If you can see one player has a band name on the tip of their tongue, but they can't quite get it out, you slap a modify card down and you'll prevent them from getting the point. Possibly. I've had that backfire on me before. Real bands do need to meet some criteria to be eligible for bonus points. First of all, someone else at the table has to have heard of them. And secondly, the band needs to have released at least 3 songs. So no, the band you're in high school that never went anywhere doesn't count. Also, no, you're not allowed to look them up on your phone, your tablet, Google, Bing, DuckDuckGo, whatever. Just play honestly. And finally, we come to the hardest difficulty level in Band Room Blitz, Blitz Mode. Blitz Mode includes all the rules of the previous difficulty and introduces a time limit. Once the category cards are played, the band leader flips over a sand timer and begins a 1-minute countdown. After the minute, it's pencils down, submit your answers, whether they're finished or not. Although, if a player puts down a modify card, that will reset the clock, so you can use that to a strategic advantage. Plus, players can only shout out a real band name within the first 30 seconds. That's for your own benefit, though, so you don't waste all your time trying to think of a real band. And finally, should your band leader be unable to pick a winner, they can declare a tiebreaker round. The band leader picks any number of players to participate. Even if their band name wasn't as good, you can let them participate if you really want to. Players involved in a tiebreaker must come up with an album and 3 songs by their fictional band. And if you're playing Blitz Mode, you only have a minute to do it, which is just barely not quite enough time. And that's pretty much everything you need to know about Band Room Blitz to get playing. Of course, I'm all about customization. There's absolutely no reason you couldn't introduce time limits to just Jammin if you really wanted to. So feel free to tweak and house rule to suit your table's preferences. And hey, if something really works for you guys, throw it in the comments. I would be absolutely happy to hear it. And if you want to get a real strategic advantage, please consider subscribing to the Analog Universe YouTube channel. We've got more videos coming down the pipe that'll go into deeper strategy and the best possible form of mental gymnastics to get the best possible band name really quickly. My name's Andrew Baldock of Analog Universe Games. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you next time.